Hello students, once again welcome back to biology class. Myself Dr. Raghavendra here. Well, in the earlier class we were discussing about the conservation of this biodiversity. So conservation of biodiversity is not possible only by a single hand or one person. So entire mankind have to understand the importance of these species and how these plants, animals are in one or other way helping us. So we are dependent on these, they are not dependent on us. So we need to understand the importance of these plants, animals, and also we should consider we are not superior to all these. We are also one among these species. Then only we will be able to survive. So here when we talk about the conservation of the nature or biodiversity as such, there are more importantly 6 important components. Yes, narrow utilitarian, broad utilitarian, ethical values or moral values we can say, and then in situ as well as ex situ, yes, conservation, as well as we need to understand mainly the what we can say, the most importantly the Earth Summit. What is this Earth Summit also we are going to discuss. So when we talk about narrow utilitarian means a limited usage of the available resources of nature. So you are growing a variety of crops, yes, we in the crop field, but we need not to keep on doing the deforestation. So advancement in the field of science and agriculture has enough potentiality or ability to grow good number of good amount of the food within limited time, within limited resources available. So with the advanced technology or agrotechnology, we can grow good amount of crops, highly nutritious, mainly the grains within a limited resources only. So crops, vegetables, fruits, cereals and pulses are the major resources of the food for us. And then the wood as such, mainly the neem, sal, teak, sisam are the more important wood. But we need not keep on cutting the what we can say, the forest for the sake of these. Then the fibers such as cotton, jute, hemp, we can say also, then eucalyptus. For the sake of this, we need not to over exploit the nature. Then lubricants, maybe the oil such as tannins, such as mainly the varnish or the natural paints also we can say. Medicines, as 25% of the global medicine is provided by the plants alone. More than 25,000 plant species are there, but what we are doing, we are unable to mainly make the multiplication of these medicinally valuable plants. We keep on simply extracting them and ultimately we are not planting them again. Thus what happens? Over exploitation of the nature. In the future, these medicinally valuable plants will not be available for further generation. So we have to put a limit for that also. And then resins, the sticky substances of the gum or the rubber. For the sake of this, we keep on exploiting the nature and we are removing these plants. And then perfumes, mainly from the sandalwood or number of the flowers and number of aromatic plants are available. Then the dyes or the colors we are extracting from these plants and we are not rethinking of growing them again. So with all this, we are doing over exploitation. So where we have to cut down our usages, that is we call as the narrow utilitarian methods. Fine. So let us go ahead with the broad utilitarian. What is this broad utilitarian? As such, the nature gives us number of things, but it will never expect anything in returns of that. We get the oxygen from nature, but nowhere they will ask the money for that. If you are a patient suffering with the ailment related to the respiratory system, to put the ventilators, yes, to take care of you in the ICU, crores of, yes, the bill they will do, but the nature is providing you everything free of cost, not asking anything. That is what we say, broad utilitarians. So understand the importance of this broad utilitarian. Yes. So conserve the nature as such. Let me tell you, 20% of the global oxygen globally, okay, available oxygen provided by the plants through photosynthesis. Through photosynthesis. Synthesis. This is what we say broad utilitarian. Any time does the plants have asked you money for providing the oxygen? Never. So understand the importance of these plants and conserve and protect them. Don't put the saw on them every time, because they are there, so only we are here. If the plants are not there, no chance of existence of the life on this earth. Fine. So 20% of the globally available oxygen provided by the plants through the photosynthesis. And then pollination. Yes, pollination provided by bees, bumblebees, bats, birds and animals. So by doing the pollination, yes, they are improving our crops. They are increasing the growth rate of the plants. Thus, indirectly, these pollinators which are existing in the nature helping us. We never give any charges for that. We never pay anything for that. Only what they expect from us. Don't disturb their ecological system. So, thus, we can say that pollination is a free of cost provided by the nature. It is a broad utilitarian of the nature, we can say. Then, the other one, aesthetic values. Aesthetic value is what? So, let me tell you, walking through the woods. Walking through woods. Woods means in the Western English it is the forest or the thick vegetation or the garden. Okay, garden. So imagine you are walking through the garden early in the morning or in the evening. So how you will feel? You will be we can say energized. You will feel refreshness. Okay, you will feel relaxed. So who will give this without a single money, right? So for the better relaxation, people find number of ways. It may be the drinking alcohol or smoking the cigarette or number of things they do. That's all the artificial. But when you enjoy the nature, yes, when you are with the nature, nature will be always with you. So walking through the woods or the garden, yes, gives the refreshness, okay, or we can say relaxation, which is available for the free of cost. And you have the love towards the birds, love towards the plants, definitely you will enjoy your life. So let me tell you one more simple example. What is that? So we can say that aesthetic value that includes mainly, so the melodious song of the bird, melodious song of the bird, the what we can say, the noise of the birds, okay, chirping sound of the birds, that gives you the enjoyment, refreshness of the mind. So we can say refreshes the mindset. Okay, there are the people who will bring a variety of birds in the cage. They keep them in the cage, they take care of the birds, but they are going to become very, very mean-minded or selfish people, we can say. Those who want to take care of the birds, let them be, yes, fly freely. So let them be there in the nature. For your happiness, you are putting the birds in the cage. That is not a great thing. So enjoy the noise, the chirping sound of the bird in the nature. Go outside, walk through the garden. Yes, you will get that feeling of the freedom. Okay. So these are all what we say mainly aesthetic values or broad utilitarian values, we can say. So thus, this is the nature, this is the way how we need to conserve our nature, right? So let us go ahead with the next, what you can say, ethical or moral values also. I hope you got a clarity about this. The broad utilitarian means it is the service provided by the nature but never ask you any money for that. Free of cost, yes, it gives you the 20% globally available oxygen by doing the photosynthesis. It never asks you, only thing is you need not to kill the plants. Secondly, pollination provided by the bees, bumblebees, bats, birds, animals. Yes, they do it for free of cost, but you need not to kill them again. Aesthetic values, yes, walking through the garden or listening to the melodious sound of the birds gives you a kind of rejoicing, or it makes you to feel that you are alive and you are enjoying the life. This is what we say broad utilitarian values. You need to understand the importance of these. The next one, yes, we need to understand ethical or moral values. So, we the human have lots of responsibilities towards the nature. So, yes, in number of religion, there is importance for particular kind of what we can say the plants as well as the animals. So, we say that ethical or moral values also we need to understand, that makes in fact to conserve what we can say that mainly the conserve the nature. So ethical or moral values towards the species. Okay, so what are those? Most we call them as sacred species. Okay, sacred organisms we say, sacred animals or plants we can say. So sacred species also we say, such as animals. India is the only country where Hindus are surviving very well and mainly taking care of different kind of plants and animal species. Yes, the religious values are given to the particular kind of species of plants and animals. So mainly we can say that number of debates are going to happen or will be happening every now and then. Hinduism not teaches you only the religious values, it also teaches you how to remain eco-friendly and with good health. So when the positive things are coming elsewhere, let it come from anywhere, better to accept those and become a good human also. Fine. So animals as well as the plants with the sacred values, okay, or religious values. So mainly it may be the cow, it may be the crow, and it may be the peacock, okay, and yes, there may be the snake as such, cobra, okay, cow, crow, peacock, snake, tiger, lion, turtle, okay, crocodile, parrot. Variety of animal species have their own stories behind it. Definitely I will be telling you all that. Then the plants, we call it as a tulsi. It is also called as Ocimum santalum. Then we respect the neem. We respect the fig, banyan tree. Then, yes, even turmeric. Its medicinal as well as religious values will be there. Okay. So, when I talk about the cow, yes, the Hinduism believes that yes, the cow is the most sacred animal, as equal as respect for the cow is like that of the maybe mother, because when you drink the milk of either your mother or the cow, yes, both should be respected very well. Then the crow, yes, after the death, we can say that further customs, so that your soul should mainly merge into the infinity or eternity. Yes, the crow should come and eat whatever the things kept over there at the day of Shraddha, we say. Then peacock, yes, they considered to be the vehicle for the the goddess of the knowledge, Saraswati, and then the snake found around the neck of Lord Shiva, then the tiger, the vehicle of, we can say that mainly Parvati or Durga, even the lion also, and then the turtle, another reincarnation of Lord Vishnu, we can say. Crocodile also a kind of god, and then the parrot, Shukamuni, we say. So there are number of the stories behind it, why we should respect these species and conserve them. Number of ways, yes, they are useful to the mankind, we say. And then the Osmium santalum, neem, fig, banyan, and turmeric, all they have the medicinal values, and we keep them in the home also because for our own good health. So it also considered to be as a good omen or good sign. So these we call them as ethical or religious values. So we need to understand further what we can say that in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. Let us go ahead with in situ conservation first. Let us understand what is this in situ conservation. In refers to be in the same habitat or in the same place, we call it as in situ conservation, we call it as. So let us understand what is this in situ conservation. Protecting the species in their natural habitat. We call it as mainly in situ conservation. So in situ conservation in the form of hotspots. Hotspots are basically the geographic regions with high diversity or species richness, with a high species richness, we say. So hotspots, so far these hotspots forms, okay, they form 2% of the land, and there are, we can say that, so there are 34 hotspots identified so far. 34 hotspots. In that 25 are old and 9 are newly identified hotspots. For instance, for example, number of hotspots we can say, they may be Western Ghats, okay, they may be the India and Burma border, Burma region, it may be the Sri Lanka, it has high diversity, we can say, okay, and then Himalayan regions. Himalayan region has high diversity, so we call them as the hotspots. Then the next, we can say that yes, it is mainly sacred groves. Sacred groves. These are the places where certain species are mainly conserved, undisturbed, okay, certain species are conserved without disturbing with the ethical or moral values. Species conserved with, okay, ethical values or moral values. So we call them as sacred groves. Few examples for this. Okay, Khansi and Jenshia of Meghalaya. Okay, then there is Aravali Hills. Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan. Okay, Western Ghats of Karnataka and Maharashtra. Okay. Other than that, yes, there is a place, Basta, Saraguji and Chanda of Madhya Pradesh. Yes, these are mainly the sacred groves, we can say. Means the species of the certain plants and animals are conserved with the ethical values and they are undisturbed. Okay, so ethical values are undisturbed. Means entry of the public people is restricted here. So Khansi and Genshia of the Meghalaya are the sacred groves. Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan are the sacred groves. Western Ghats of Karnataka are mainly the sacred groves. Then Basta, Saraguji and Chanda are the places in Madhya Pradesh are considered to be as a sacred groves. So these are what we can say that mainly the in situ conservation. Under in situ conservation we consider the hotspots as well as the sacred groves. So the next is biosphere reserves. Okay, we need to understand mainly, yes, mainly they are the biosphere reserves as well as national parks and sanctuaries we need to discuss. Let us understand those also. So there are number of biosphere reserves. As such, it may be somewhere around 14 biosphere reserves. And then, yes, so we need to understand those also. So here, what we say mainly, biosphere reserves. So these are also again undisturbed biosphere reserves that can be somewhere around, so around 14. And then there are what we can say national parks. National parks in almost all the states we can find there are somewhere around 90. Then there are wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuaries, these are somewhere around 440 in number. So these are also undisturbed and with a limited human entry. Yes, with a limited human entry, there may be the scientist or we can say that forest department people. Yes, the human entry is restricted. Human entry is limited and restricted. So thus we can say biosphere reserves which are existing naturally where the species may be more and then they have to be undisturbed and protected. National parks which are 90, wildlife sanctuaries are somewhere around 440 all over the globe. So this is all what we say mainly the in situ conservation as such. So in situ conservation, let us understand what are the methods of ex situ conservation also. Well, so we need to study ex situ conservation. What is the basic definition of this ex situ conservation? So when we say that ex situ conservation, protecting these species in a what you can say artificial condition or man-made condition. Okay, so mainly ex situ means preserving or protecting the species by taking them out of their natural habitat. So ex situ conservation, ex situ conservation. protecting the species by taking them out of their natural habitat. Okay, maintaining these species, okay, in man-made, artificial, well-maintained, okay, places, okay, and favoring them for captive breeding also. What are these ex situ conservation places then? They can be zoological parks. That means the zoo. Botanical gardens. That means mainly the parks. Okay. Then safari, where the species conserved, okay, in the safaris with the human monitoring, by human care and monitoring, safaris we say. And then there are other methods such as cryopreservation, okay, maintaining the cells, or tissues and gametes in cold liquid nitrogen at -197 degrees centigrade, so that they can be utilized later. Cryopreservation and tissue culture. Yes, whether it's a plant or the animal, the whole organism can be developed by using the tissues. We call it as a tissue culture. Other than this, Earth Summit, we need to understand what is this number 6, Earth Summit. It is mainly the meeting by the world leaders. To take pledge for conservation of biodiversity. Okay, Earth Summit is done 2 times. One is 1992 in Rio de Janeiro in the Brazil of South America. 2002 in Johannesburg of South Africa. So these are the different methods have been mainly conducted mainly for the conservation of the biodiversity. Well, I hope you got the clarity about this. Ex situ conservation means taking the species out of their natural habitat, protecting them, conserving them, providing the facility. It may be the food, shelter, protection, medical care, all under the human monitoring. Zoological park, yes, they are the zoos. Botanical gardens, they are the plant gardens, we can say. Safaris, the species are conserved under the human care and monitoring. Particular geographic area or the particular area well protected. Then cryopreservation, maintaining the cells, tissues and gametes for furthermore creation of the species. Then tissue culture also. Then Earth Summit is the meeting of the world leaders to conserve the nature. Once in 1992 Rio de Janeiro in Brazil of South America, and then 2002 in Johannesburg of South Africa, they conducted and took the pledge to protect the nature and species. Well, this is all about the chapter biodiversity and conservation. Fine. So we will meet again in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.